Physical culture. If you really want to actually make money, trust me, one of the best things is going to be focus on your body, because your body is the vessel for your consciousness, is the vessel for your mind. For your mind to work properly, the best way to encourage it and the best way to sustain for the long term a good mental health is to focus on physical culture. This is how your morning routine is going to look like right before you jump straight into work. No fucking breakfast beforehand. And we're going to talk about nutrition in the end, so just stick around for it. First of all, maybe I should have worn a t-shirt or something to hold on this shit. But I had a point to make. Yeah, I'm not that strong or anything, but I have been doing this for a while, so I do kind of look good, and I'm on 9% body fat. So, yeah. Your morning routine is going to look like this. First, you are going to take a cold shower. I should have used the blue one. That's right. Cold shower. That's your number one. That's the first thing you're going to do. That looks really bad. Anyways, afterwards, your second thing, that's going to, first of all, that's going to spike your cortisol levels right in the morning as soon as you wake up. So it's really important. Also, it's going to be really good for your blood flow, and it's going to deep down your dopamine levels right after you wake up. So this is your dopamine just clean off your dopamine receptors are going to be very smooth as soon as you wake up. Most people, what will they do? They are going to do something really bad, and they are going to spike their dopamine upwards by scrolling on social media or doing any other dumb shit like masturbating in the morning. That's really good. That's a really good way to fuck yourself up. So afterwards, their dopamine levels are going to crash. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter of motivation. They used to think that it was the thing that made you feel good, but it's not quite like that. It's what motivates you. So this is going to become this person's new dopamine level. This is their new baseline, and throughout the day they are going to keep doing bad shit, and they are going to keep feeling worse. They are going to have this massive spike if they still have it, but they are going to go back to a really fucked up baseline. So what will we do? We're going to apply the principles of delayed gratification. So what we're going to do is to be a fucking G, and instead of spiking our dopamine levels, we're going to make them deep down. We're going to seek out pain like the cold showers. This will make you actually go back, but instead of going back to baseline, you're going to go back a little bit above baseline. So you're going to actually feel a little bit better than when you woke up. Next thing is going to be working out. Resistance training workout. There you go. First, you do this kind of workout. This is looking really fucking bad, but anyways, let me make shorter the other line. So you're going to work out then. And what's the thing about it? First of all, you're going to be building muscle, which is fucking great. This is a resistance kind of training workout. You can do calisthenics if you want, or you can do, let's say, what's the other thing? Let me think. Oh yeah, you can do like weightlifting, right? But try to go for compound movements and try to not make it very hard. You need to actually be able to do this shit, especially if you haven't worked out in your life. This cannot be too hard for you. It needs to feel doable, not that easy, but not that hard. You need to set your bar low enough so you can do it. If you have never worked out in your fucking life, just go and lift the empty bar, right? Go and lift the empty bar, and that's it. So afterwards, try not to make it longer than 20 or 30 minutes. 45, it's just like top, but I don't recommend you if that's the baseline by which you, if you're starting off, I don't recommend you that. So after that, the last piece of this puzzle is actually sprint. What's going to happen when you sprint? First of all, you're going to, let me do the workout thing here. Let's say you dip it down again, and now your baseline is higher. And you fucking sprint. Oh shit. You sprint, and now it's even higher. Now you're feeling pretty good. I know it doesn't look like he's going higher because he's just kind of crooked, but you get the point, right? I'm really bad at drawing. So, what's going to happen here is the following. When you sprint, you spike your cortisol as well. Everything that you have been doing here is going to create a massive spike in your cortisol. This is going to help you to sleep like a fucking baby at night. And what does sleep very good brings you? Testosterone. You need that shit to build muscle. You need that shit to actually feel drive. You need that shit to actually feel like a fucking man and to work really hard. Because if you got drive, you got motivation, and you work hard, man. That's the thing. So, the other thing, sprints also have been proven to spike your growth hormone in and out of themselves, which is going to help you with the workouts. We do it after the workouts, of course, because if not, you're going to be way too tired to do the workouts. The sprints, I'm talking about sprints, do not fucking run. If you run, you're cooking your hormones. You're spiking too much cortisol in a prolonged state. Sprints are a heat thing, high intensity interval training. Heat. This is how you will do the sprints. First of all, look for a park near your area, as near as possible. I know it's going to be kind of shameful, but you need to go there. You need to take off your fucking shoes and run barefoot in grass. At the beginning, you might not take off your shirt, but I'm doing it already because I need more testosterone from the sunlight. Sunlight exposure is really important. I know, I look very pale, but there's not a lot of sun right now. It's just very it's very cloudy lately. But anyways, I'm taking as much sunlight as I can every single fucking day. If I could, I would sun my balls. But I don't have like a backyard or something to be walking around naked. I'm going to go to fucking jail if I do that. So don't do that. But I'm telling you, if you take a cold shower in the morning, first of all, then go and work out. Resistance training workout, weightlifting, calisthenics, maybe even CrossFit, which I don't recommend actually before sprints. I'm actually going to even do some CrossFits after the sprints in my own routine in maybe next month. But right now, I'm just very I have already enough on my plate with these three things. So cold showers, workouts, and sprints. Then you come home after taking some very good sunlight. After also just I forgot the sprints. It's important that you do it like this. You can do, for example, like 20 seconds of sprints followed by 60 seconds walking. So you rest from that sprint. If you do like a 10-second sprint, just walk by 30 seconds or something like that, right? Like I said, it's really important if you can do them barefoot, because it's going to destroy your fucking joints if you do it not on grass and not barefoot. If you do it like with the wrong shoe wear, it's not going to be very good for you. So just make sure you are doing basically that. um 20 seconds followed by a 60 seconds rest, and you do it again. You can do from 6 to 12 reps. I mean 12 reps, 12 laps, but try to keep it under 20 minutes. More than 20 minutes is just excessive already. So the best thing is, like I said, 20 minutes. And also another thing that is going to boost your metabolism, because this is also going to boost your metabolism, is going to burn a lot of fat. This is how you can get to single digits body fat. I had never been able to get to single digit body fats in my life, and now I have. Of course, I still got a lot of muscle to keep building, but this is a very big milestone for me. So, and it can be for you as well. And I did it fairly fast. Also, the diet is essential. So let's talk about that real quick. I think I'm not going to write it here, but let's see how it goes. This is the thing. You need to eat if you really want to go the best way possible is through a very strict keto diet, but you can be less strict and it's going to be actually easier the transition. So this is how your macros should actually look like. So 40% protein. I'm going to explain you exactly what the protein is going to be. 15% carbs, not any carbs. Nothing from this diet can be processed foods. And I'm not even recommending you to use any kind of vegetables they cook your your thyroids. 45% fat. Yeah, animal fat. So for animal fat, you're going to use tallow. For you can use as well organic butter, but it's going to be harder to find probably, but and also more expensive. But tallow is the best option. Just pork tallow. You can use a cos tallow or any other tallow that you can find. If you got problems with those, it's like I said, any other tallow. There are a lot of different. It's just animal fat. It's animal fat. Carbs. The only carbs that you're going to be consuming are going to be from raw honey and from what's the other thing? And from fruit. Yeah, but you gotta make sure you're eating from a low glycemic index fruits. So don't eat like watermelon, not even like bananas that are in kind of in the middle. You can slice one banana from time to time, but never eat them on an empty stomach. Eat always first the proteins, unless you are going to do like you're going to try to spike your IG1, which you can do. But to spike your IG1, the idea here is to go through a 42, 24, 42 fasting, and then spike your IG1 by eating fruit directly. That's another thing that we should talk about later on. And protein is going to come from steaks, organs, animal organs. I know it sounds kind of gross, but you really need to eat them because in them is all the vitamins you need. These people that are taking a lot of fucking vitamins in pills, that's just fucking stupid. There's no fucking need to actually eat anything unnatural. Everything that you're eating should be natural as fuck. And all the vitamins you need are inside animal organs. That's the deal. Liver is really fucking disgusting, at least to me. And there's a lot of people that actually like it, but to me, it's just the worst. So what I do is just cut out a little slice, just spray sea salt on it. It's gotta be organic sea salt, motherfucker. Please do not use table kind of the regular ass industrial salt. That's bullshit. That's really bad. Sea salt, that's great. Specifically, the best one is Celtic sea salt, organic Celtic sea salt. So for from the Celtic Sea, Celtic sea salt. That's yeah, Celtic sea salt. Fuck, I don't know what I got stuck on that. Anyways, what's the other thing? Like I said, protein is going to come from beef, like from meat in general. Make sure you're eating a lot of meat, and it can come from eggs as well. Make sure the meat is non-processed. This is obvious. If possible, grass-fed, of course. Never, like I said, the fat you're going to use tallow, but you're not going to directly eat the tallow. I'm talking about cooking with tallow. Never fucking cook again with seed oils. They invert your ratio of omega 6 to omega 3, and they cook your hormones entirely. They messed you up entirely. And when you get sunlight, for example, like this in the morning, it will oxidate in your skin and it can cause skin cancer, between other things. So cut out all bullshit. If you really want to go hard on losing fat, you can get into keto entirely. Keto is going to be basically like 1% carbs or something like that, that they're going to come from basically uh, they're going to come from basically eggs or raw dairy, like raw yogurt or something like that. But in this place, like for a full-blown keto diet, it should be something more like 60% fat, 40% protein. In reality, it's going to be like more 59% fat, 1% or 0.1% or something like that. Uh, Carbs. Like I said, carbs are you are going to find them in raw yogurt, so or raw milk. Like I said, raw milk. Never A1, always A2. That's pretty much it. You need to know that goats are all A2. Why no A1? Because A1 come from a kind of cow that evolved kind of they're like a genetic mutation from around 10,000 years ago, and we are not really ready to process their milk. But from A2 cows is entirely healthy. Pasteurized, it will take away 50% of their nutrients, but if you cannot find any other, just go with pasteurized. But it's way better raw. Don't be afraid of infections or anything. Trust me, there's no problem with it. That's what I'm drinking, and that's what I've been doing for a really long time. Nothing has happened. It's just fear mongering, most of all. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I made this video really long, but I really wanted to explain to you every single detail. So there you have it. After this morning routine, what you're going to do is jump straight into work. And trust me, you're going to work like a machine. I do recommend you to read this book called Deep Work by Cal Newport. It's really short and it's going to teach you how to work in 3 hours better than in a fucking entire week. That's the deal. So make sure you are being productive in the hours that you're actually working, instead of doing shallow work for 12 hours and ending up really tired and not really actually achieving anything that you really want to achieve. So that's pretty much it. Remember, delusion backed up just by words is just delusion, but delusion backed up by relentless action, that's called faith, brother. I'll see you on the next one. Remember, duty, honor, and pride.